Hi everyone! In today's video I'll show you how to do this very easy mesh bag that you can literally use for anything. So to make this mesh bag you will need any chosen cotton double knit yarn. I've got paint box here and it's in color Sailor Blue, and this is a 50-gram ball where you should be using only 30 grams unless you decide to change the size and make a bigger one. Then you will need 3.5mm hook, needle and pair of scissors. To start off, you want to grab your yarn, make a slip knot, and you can chain any multiples of 4. I'm gonna be doing 44, and then on top of that it's gonna be chain 6, so you can chain any multiple of 4 plus 6 at the end. And like I said, I'm gonna do 44. So I have now chained 44. This is gonna be the length of my bag. You can again chain any number of multiples of 4, so that can be 12, 16, 20 and so on. Once you're done and when you're happy with the length of your chain, you will need to chain another 6. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and then count 10 chains from your hook. That's my 10th one, and this is where I want to place my first stitch, which is gonna be a treble. So yarn over twice, go into your 10th stitch from your hook, pull up a loop. You will have 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and one more time. That's your treble. And the reason why we needed to chain an additional 6 is because this is our 3 chain and then 3 chain again, which acts as a treble crochet. From there on you want to chain 3 and then skip 3 stitches here at the bottom, so not including this one. We went 1, 2, 3 and into the 4th one make a treble. Again, chain 3, skip 3 chains, and into the 4th one make a treble crochet. Again, chain 3, skip 3 chains, and into the 4th one make a treble. And you will be repeating this till the end of your row. So just because I've chained 44 for my chain, if I divide that by 4 I will get number 11. This means I will have 11 of those squares. So if you divide your chain number, not including those 6, divide by 4 and you will get the square number that you will have for the length of your bag, if that makes any sense. So yeah, just keep chaining 3, skipping 3 and then doing your treble into the 4th. And that's gonna be the pattern that we will be using throughout. So it's a really easy mesh bag as it only includes chains and treble crochets. At the very end you should have 4 stitches left, so that's 1, 2, 3 and 4. If you've got something else, that means you've either missed some chains or you did incorrect number of chains, so you just want to double check that. But your row should end with 4, and to finish it off we will, as always, chain 3 and do treble crochet into the last chain as we are skipping first 3. And this is our first row done, and we are now going to repeat this till we've got 12 rows, or you can make any other amount of rows until you're happy how big it is. So to begin second row, chain 6, so 3 for our first treble, and then 3 as our chain here, and we will be going with treble into this stitch. So above our treble, do a treble as well, and then you want to chain 3 again, skip 3, so above our treble we're gonna do treble. And repeat this till you reach the end of your row. Chain 3, skip 3, and do treble above previous round treble. And I'll meet you at the end of round 2. And when you reach the end of your round 2, you want to chain 3. As always, skip 3, so that's 1, 2, 3, and into the 4th one here, you want to do a treble. And that's second round done. To start each round, you will be chaining 6. Then you turn your work and do treble in this one, chain 3, skip, and so on until you reach the end, where you will skip those 3 chains and go into the 4th one with the treble. So you just want to repeat this second round another 10 times, so you have 12 rows, and this one square counts as 1 row, so that's 1 and 2, and you want to repeat till you've got 12. And this is how your work will look after doing 12 rows. So at the end, where you've got your last treble made, just chain 1, cut your yarn off and pull through, and you will need to repeat this one more time until you have this same exact piece. Just don't finish off that one, and I'll meet you then. When you finish those 2, you want to lay them flat. This is our tail where we finished, and this is the one that we haven't finished yet. So when you do your treble, you just want to chain 1 and leave it with the yarn. And now we want to join those 2 panels together. So we want to put them right sides in. So they're now right sides up, because this is where the tail where we finished is, or your initial tail here on the right. So put them right sides in, meaning we've got wrong side up on this and this one. And with your hook and your yarn from your second panel, you want to go in and join along 3 sides. So basically along this side, this one, that's the bottom, and another side, leaving this top open for the back opening. And then to join it, we have our hook here, so we want to go into our 4th chain, so that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm gonna insert my hook there through both loops, and then into that top one that we have, and I will make a slip stitch. And now, making sure that I'm aligning the stitches together, or the squares, I'm gonna go in and I'll be joining it with the slip stitch along the sides. So just make sure that those squares are aligned, and just go in and join it with a slip stitch. I'm now joined along one side, and this is where it comes to be a bit easier because these are the initial chain ones, so it's not as hard as on the side. Of course, if you prefer, you could use a needle and a thread to join them together. I'm just using slip stitch here, but needle would work just as fine, as it can be quite difficult for some to go into those chains. But yeah, you just want to continue doing slip stitches and just make sure that those bars of trebles are aligned as you go and join them. And then I'll meet you at the end to do the handles. When you finish joining all around those 3 sides, you can then chain 1 to secure, and you can cut your yarn off, leaving a tiny bit so we can hide this in. So I've cut my yarn off, I chained 1, and I'm just gonna leave those tails. Now you want to grab your bag and pull it inside out so the wrong side is inside, and this is how it will be looking so far. So now we only left to do handles, and what you want to do is count 3 squares from your side, so that's 1, 2, 3, and this is where we start our handle. So on a 3rd square, you want to grab your hook, insert it into the treble crochet here, so after 2 squares, and grab your yarn. I'm just gonna attach it and chain 6. Then into next treble here, you want to do treble above, then chain 6, and turn your work, and skip 3 chains and do treble into the 4th chain here, chain 6 again, turn your work and do treble into the 4th chain. And you just want to repeat this as many times as you want. I'm gonna be doing this total 15 times, so I will have 15 squares for my handle. So I've got 3 now, and I'm gonna do that 12 more times. So just repeat as many times as you want. If you made your bag bigger, you will probably want longer handle as well, or if you made it smaller, then smaller as well, but that's up to you. And I'll show you how to join the handle to the other side. When you finish doing your squares, it's gonna be looking something like this. And before you finish it off, you can always put that next to the side to see if you like the length. I'm gonna finish it here, but just for reference, you could do more or take off some rows if you don't like the length. So once you're happy with it, chain 1 and cut your yarn off, and make sure to leave some tail because we will be sewing this on. put your hook out and you can now grab your needle. I'm gonna put the yarn in, and just before we join this, you want to make sure that it's not twisted, and we will be joining it with our third square as well. So from the side, 1, 2, 3, and this is the part where we will be joining it. So put them right sides in, and using your needle from the treble, sew it on. And then once you're done, you just want to hide this tail very well, because there's not much of a body to hide it in, but just go a couple of times to make sure it doesn't come out. And I'm gonna be going down as well, just to make it extra secure. And then you can cut your tail off. And now you will need to repeat the same thing for second handle on the other side, making sure that you do the same distance. So 2 squares, and on the third one from both sides, it's where the handle begins. So this is our side, that's 2, and on the third one. So repeat that for the second one. And when you finish doing both of the handles, you only need to hide all the tails in, and that's gonna be it. So I've got one tail left here, and I'm just gonna show you what I usually do. So I like to go in a couple of directions to make sure that it's not gonna be pulled and that it is secure. And it can be quite tricky with this mesh bag because there's not much of a space to go in, if that makes sense. But just try to weave it in as secure as you can, and it should be okay. So I did a couple of rows. I'm gonna cut the tail off, and this was the wrong side, so I'm just gonna pull it out on the right side, and this is how it will look. You could also alter the size to any, using the same pattern. You would just need to make more rows and chain any multiples of 4 to make it a bit bigger. But yeah, and if you use cotton yarn, it's gonna be strong enough to hold some things such as books or fruits or anything really. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, please hit subscribe and like this video, and I'll see you in my next one.